Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to San Antonio, Texas, where we are here at the 2021 America's Strongest Man. My name is Rob Kearney, alongside my great co-host, Anthony Furman. We are back after a successful trip and a fun time commentating the Clash of the Coast last year.
I would say very successful, and I would say it was the funnest time I've had at a Strongman show was commentating with this man.
You know, what it did for me was, obviously as a current competitor, it made me excited for the sport as a fan again, which is something I love. I love this sport, and today we have the best strongmen in America. We have 6 amazing events that are going to test these athletes to the limit. A lot of prize money on the line. Now, Anthony, talk us through some of the events that we're going to be seeing today.
Yep, no problem. So we're opening the competition with Fingle fingers, and for those of you at home that haven't seen it, it is a big giant tube, essentially, that they're going to flip over. There's 4 of them, and they get heavier as they go, and it's for time. And I'll tell you what, these things are heavy, so it's not going to be something where everyone finishes, I don't think.
So just so we'll go over the weights for the 105s of the Fingle fingers. We're starting off with the first 2 implements at 432 pounds. The third one is 442 pounds. Last implement, 452 pounds. Some of the other events today, we have a Max Deadlift.
So event two is a log for reps.
Okay.
So what it is, it's clean and press each rep. Middleweight is 315 pounds. Ooh. And the heavyweight, I believe, is 345 pounds.
I mean, these are
for reps.
For reps, that's heavy.
It's heavy. Clean each rep. It's not press away. And I think what we're going to see 6-7 reps win it, because it's in a minute. It's tough to get much more than that.
And we just have technicians in the 105s.
I mean, we got to mention Nicholas Canby, who has 3 105 overhead world records.
Just recently took my log press record.
He did. He beat you out.
He
by
did.
A kilo.
I mean, and that's...
Does a kilo count for a world record?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think it's exciting for me being on this side of things now. I haven't competed in the 105 since 2016, and I've had that record actually since 2014.
Yeah.
And in my perspective, records are meant to be broken, and to have it be broken by somebody who I consider a close friend of mine, who I've competed with, since 2011 or 2012, it's just really exciting to pass that torch on to him.
Well, I got to say, also, I know you don't like it, but kudos to you. When you have a record that lasts fucking 8 years, I'm sorry for cussing, you have a record that lasts for 8 years, that's a testament to your ability and what you pushed in the beginning of the sport, really. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's just been so much fun to see. So, second event, log press. What do we have for the third event today?
Third event is Max Deadlift. Woo! And the weight jumps are pretty bold. So, we're starting at 675 for the middleweights, 725. Then we're going 765, 805, 825, and then 20-pound increments until somebody bows out. Now, they can not attempt a weight if they want. They can skip an attempt.
And just again, so 675 for the opening weight for the 105s. These guys weighed in yesterday at 231 pounds.
231 pounds.
And the lightest deadlift they're going to be doing is 675
lightest. That's the opening weight. That's the shit to get off the pot weight.
That's absolutely crazy.
So the fourth event is going to be the Sandbag load medley. And what they're doing is 4 sandbags, varying weights starting at, I believe, 265 for the middleweights and going up to about 330. And so what they're doing is taking that and loading it over a yoke. Fastest time wins, hands down.
So we have Fingle fingers, log for reps, Max Deadlift, Sandbag carry and load. We're doing 6 events today.
It's going to be a bruiser event.
5th event is the Sandbag toss.
Max weight.
For max weight.
Yep, it's over 15 feet, max weight, heaviest bar or bag over the bar wins.
And then the final event is what?
The nastiest Husafell carry I've ever seen. You guys will get a view of it later, but this Husafell is pretty brutal, and it's going to be for max distance.
Now, Husafell carry for max distance literally just comes down to grit and digging as deep as you can to get that distance. I mean, it is one of those events is whoever can endure the most pain is going to win. And with that being the 6th event today, that's not going to be an easy thing to do.
It's going to be very hard. These events are a lot. They're taxing overall and lower body posterior chain. And that last event, I'm telling you, sometimes I tell people a Husafell carry, it feels like when you slice soft butter, that's what it feels like is happening to your backside. Like it's just being sliced off.
I mean, all of us, we've done this event before, and there comes a certain time in that carry where your hamstrings and glutes just say no. And
I'm not having it.
It's this odd feeling of just taking another step is almost impossible.
It is, and you try and grit it out. Everything's failing because once your backside fails, your arms start failing, your grip starts failing, and it is the biggest struggle on earth to get another step on Husafell when you're failing.
Exciting stuff we have going on here. We are getting the field set up to begin the Fingle Fingers right now, and we'll take a little break.
Yes,
and
sir.
Come back soon.
Through our struggles, there are opportunities. Opportunities that can change us and change the world. Born out of risk, strife, persistence, and triumph, our achievements define us as humans. From the bottom, we can rise. Risen, we can dominate. We are strong. We are pioneer.
Hey, it's Eric Cooper, President and CEO of your San Antonio Food Bank. And you know the food bank fights the daily disaster of poverty, but when a natural disaster occurs, we step up to that too. To learn more about how you can donate food, time, money, or voice, visit our website at safoodbank.org. For every $1, we can put out 7 meals. Together, we'll fight hunger and feed hope.
Fingle Fingers.
So a fun matchup here. We have reigning Clash on the Coast champ Nick Camby coming out first versus Jeff Lee. Now, Jeff hasn't competed in a little while.
2017.
So it's been a few years for Jeff, but he's making a comeback at America's Strongest Man this year. Again, just to go over the weights, we have the first 2 fingers at 432 pounds, then 442 and 452 for our 4 implements. So again, in lane 1, we have Nick Camby, reigning Clash on the Coast champion, multiple world record holder for the overhead events.
Jeff Lee, I tell you, he was very competitive 2017. He actually beat Kevin Ferris at Nationals.
And Jeff, he is deceivingly athletic, right?
He is.
Tall guy, a little over 6 feet tall.
Yes, very tall, very athletic. Here we go.
And here we go.
Good
First
clean,
2 fingers.
Both
Ooh, little stumble there for
struggle,
Jeff.
Nick's blasting through him so far. Little bit of stutter for Nick. This is tough.
The thing we have to watch most is their footwork. Jeff made up some nice time on that second one.
Yep, now they get the heavier ones. They're moving.
Looks like they both move a little bit smooth there. It's feet slipping for Jeff, and we're on to the 4th finger.
Nick's got to finish this good. Keep finishing, Nick. And he pushes through with time. Good time for Nick.
Good time for Nick. Jeff still fighting through.
Good time for Jeff as well.
What we're going to see with this event, too, is, again, the time is going to stop when the implement hits that tire. So you'll see these athletes kind of pushing that implement down to try to increase that time a little bit.
And you got to wonder.
So we just got word 29.44 for Nick Camby. Not
That's fast.
bad.
Under 30 seconds for these heavy farmers
for
right
those
here.
times.
33.04 for Jeff, which is also very fast. So these guys really set the standard.
That's a great time for both athletes.
Very fast times. I'm telling you, that's setting the standard. That's what you have to do when you come out first in the event. You have to set the standard.
Absolutely. I think the funny thing is, as we're watching, we just watched these 105 athletes go through this event, and now we have 3 volunteers on each Fingle finger to reset. That's always a funny, being on this side of the coin, it's always fun for me watching that to really put into perspective what these athletes do. When you see one athlete go through a course of 4 fingers, and then it's 3 volunteers to reset the course on each one.
Right, it's humbling almost as an athlete. You get sucked into this kind of sphere where you're always trying to be better. You think you're not strong enough, and then you see 3 people doing what it took you to do. So it's really humbling. You're like, wow,
absolutely awesome. I love seeing it. So our next 2 athletes we have Matt Moeller and Alex Bromley.
Right. So Matt Moeller, he is a ghost on social media. He doesn't have social media. He's an old school guy, but he's been around for a very long time. He's been a pro strongman, I think, since 2012, 2013.
Wow.
And he's very tough. He has a mental fortitude, and he's very strong as well, obviously.
So our second pair of athletes coming up, again, Matt Moeller and Alex Bromley. Let's see again, 29.44 is a time to beat. That's not going to be easy.
Very fast time. Let's see what they can do. Both off. Moving a little tough for them. Tougher than the first 2, I believe.
Smooth and controlled on the first one, but you can see they're both kind of taking their time.
Yep, this is very heavy, and this is an implement you don't have at your gym. So it's a little bit of the unknown. You don't know how it's going to feel until you do it.
Absolutely. Alex moving well on that second implement.
Taking his time.
Yep. Tough clean here.
Yep. You really got to pop that up. you know, if you get that clean, efficient, and can catch it in one go, it really helps everything.
And an event like this, you know, it's all about energy conservation. It is a long day of events.
Oh, it looks like Matt's, he's going to the old school Puchanowski
Going to the
technique.
shoulder.
I think he knows he's not going to get it. He's
Yep,
asking for
and he's going to
yep.
bow out. It looks like Alex is going to just
Yep.
finish after 3 as
Alex
well.
has followed the 3. So, wow, I mean, that goes to show you those first 2 how good they are.
That's impressive.
It
Right?
is.
Like, you see these 2 guys come out, blitz the course in about 30 seconds. Our next 2 athletes, one gets through 2 implements, another one only gets through 3.
And these are the top of the 105. So that shows you how tough this is. Do you think it was a little bit demoralizing them watching those 2 come out there and blitz through it, and then they get the feel in their hands and like, wait a minute?
I mean, there definitely is some kind of mental warfare that goes on within your head. You know, I think you see athletes come out and put a performance, so you set a certain amount of expectation on yourself to come out and do this.
22.55 through 2 for Matt Moeller. And Alice got 3, and we're getting the time right now.
So we do know Alex got 3. We'll confirm the time for you in a little bit.
Yep.
Matt with 2 and 22.55. Again, just talking about Nick Camby's run. He did 4 and 29.44.
Absolutely.
Matt got 2 and 22.55. So
I'm also
again,
very excited. I'm very excited for Jeff after seeing that performance. So I think he's going to get good points. And it said first contest back, and he's very unassuming. So it's very nice to see him do well.
And again, you know, you mentioned it a little bit before. This first event is all about setting the tone for the day.
Absolutely.
You know, you have to come out, put on a good performance, and I've been doing this sport for 12 years. You've been doing the sport for a long time as well. And no matter what show you're at, nerves are always there for the first event. And if you can come out and put a good performance in that first event, it just helps you ease into the day a little bit and find your groove.
You know, that's why I kind of like this event as the opener. As far as events go, it's a little less technical, I would say, than some of the events. So the nerves, they do affect you, but this one you can the nerves won't ruin you as if it was a log press. For
Absolutely. You know, and I mean, typically we do see the first event being an overhead event in most strongman contests, and that's where we see a lot of the shakiness. We see guys being unstable in the core, and it really does, it'll get in your head. Like you said, it kind of messes with you a little bit. So coming up next, we have
Tommy Sharp.
Nate Bowling.
Tommy Sharp is one of the people that picked to win the show. He's going to be fighting for it.
Taller athlete,
hometown Texas boy,
hometown guy. He's been able to practice on these implements, and on this event. So it definitely gives him an edge. You know, again, this is one of those events that not many strongman gyms have at their disposal all the time.
These are both Texas boys, actually. Nate and Tommy. So it's Battle of Texas right here.
So here we go. Let's see what these boys can do.
Tommy
Super
moving.
smooth.
He's got to keep going. There he goes. Drive. Nate pushing through the first one.
Tommy
on the second.
Easy work of these first 2.
Tommy's moving fast.
You see his height really playing to his advantage.
Height definitely helps. If he can get through these quick, I think he's going to push Nick's time. On to the last finger for Tommy. Nate's finishing the second. Tommy a little bit. Oh, slow down a little bit here.
He's going to have to try to really push that thing down, get the clock to stop.
He followed through. And Tommy with a great performance. I'm very interested to see his time. I think he's going to be close.
Nate Bowling still putting in work out on this.
He's fighting. He wants his third one. He needs his third one. This third one's going to be a big separator. Couldn't quite finish.
Unable to get it. So Nate Bowling
Great effort from Nate.
2. We will get the times, but that was a great run from Tommy Sharp, which you expected.
I did expect. You know, it got a little heavy for him at the end, but he was fluid through the first 3. So Nick did stumble on the second one or third one, I believe. So I don't know how that's going to play into that time here. Tommy, 31.8 seconds. So 0.18 seconds. So he's going to be second right now. Very close to Nicholas's time. That's exciting. I mean, hopefully he can only lose a point. You know, I think, and it's going to do well. Nate Bowling, 25.42.
Again, setting the tone. It's not, 31.18 seconds. It does put Tommy into second place right now. Nick still in the lead with 29.44. Yep. I think we're going to see a battle between those 2 guys today.
I do. I think the person who makes the least mistakes is going to take the title home.
And that's really big at this level of competition. Any slip up is going to cost you big time.
Absolutely. Yep.
When you have 10 athletes in the 105 class, there's a good amount of points on the table. You mess up in one event, it really does change the game for the day. I think looking at this list, there's a solid 4 or 5 guys that could be on the podium today.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes this so exciting.
That's what you love to see is 5 guys fighting for 3 spots. It's always fun to watch that. There's some big money at play here. $12K to first, $5K to second, $3K to third.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest in America's Strongest Man history for the 105s.
And that's great. The next 2 athletes we have coming up are James Deffenbaugh, Tyler Young. James Deffenbaugh, former America's Strongest Man.
Yep, he beat me.
We won't talk about that.
Tiebreaker. It hurts.
And then Tyler Young coming in, another amateur athlete coming into the competition. Yeah, I mean, and Tyler is just a little firecracker of an athlete.
You got to worry about his height with this event, though, because
it's going to work against him.
You don't like to hear, like, oh, my height is a detriment, but in this event, it really honestly is.
I mean, when you have Tyler standing at a stout 5'2", give or take.
We got James, very good, very fast with James.
And athletic.
James does have a Fingle finger at his gym, too, so he's been a long time.
And he's
moving very good.
Work of the first implement.
Tyler with a little bit mess up on the clean, that's what we're talking about. James is moving through this. He needs good points on this.
He does. This is going to be a great time for James Deffenbaugh.
Yeah, you got to wonder if he's maybe taking the first here. If he can finish
a little
quick.
slow on this 4th one. We'll see.
That's heavy. That gets heavy at the top, though. Very good time from James. Tyler's supposed to go to third. He needs his third.
The 3rd one is going to be big
get
for
it.
Tyler. Looks like he should keep his feet moving.
Good. Big points for Tyler there, I think.
And it looks like he's going to call it after that 3rd. But again, he's going back for it.
He wants it. There he is. He knows his limit.
And again, that's smart, right? Because he has to know that there's still 5 more events today. You don't want to burn yourself after one.
And we have a new leader by 0.11 seconds, 29.33 for James. Wow. And Tyler Young, 39.37, 3 fingers.
So great performance by both, like you said, James Deffenbaugh with the new leader.
Wow.
29.3 seconds. Nick Camby, 29.4 seconds. I mean, tight time. So right now we're looking at James Deffenbaugh first, Nick Camby second, Tommy Sharp third, Jeff Lee in 4th, and those are the only 4 athletes to complete the course so far.
It's amazing. I knew it's going to be heavy. It's going to be a challenge, and it's really split seconds are really determining things here. It's like we were saying. But
that's also what we expect to see at this level.
Yes.
Right. We expect to see really great performances, really tight times. Because again, these are the best of the best in America competing for this title today.
Absolutely. And we have 2 training partners actually, I think, coming up next, and Frank Provenzano and Johnny Wazisko.
We have Jersey stepping up.
Yeah, we got Jersey Shore in the house.
I do like this matchup, though, because they are training partners.
And they both have Fingle fingers, so they both train on this.
I think we're going to see, a new level of competition between the 2. Johnny's been around the game for eons at this point. When I started back in 2009, Johnny was a heavyweight competitor.
Right.
And Johnny turned pro in 2012. So he's been at this for a long time. Frank coming in under the tutelage of him, he's, again, training together. They work hard. Absolutely. So it's going to be fun to see them push each other on this event.
This is such a fun event to watch. It's iconic. This is an iconic event in Strongman.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think of Strongman, there's usually 3 things people talk about: Atlas stones, Fingle fingers, and keg tossing.
Yep.
So again, our last 2 105 athletes, we have Frank Provenzano, lane 1, Johnny Wazisko in lane 2.
Both out of Jersey, both in tights, both training partners.
Both intense.
Both strong. It should be a fun one. I'm hoping this is a fun one.
This is going to be a good show.
Yes.
Athletes ready. Judges ready. Left.
They're off. Frank with a good clean. Johnny a little tougher.
Quick on that first one. Johnny looks like he's slipping a little bit there.
A little bit, yep. Frank's moving okay, though. Got to get his hands right. He is slipping.
Again, Frank's slipping as well.
He didn't have the right shoes for this, I don't think.
Interesting technique. They're actually both wearing Olympic lifting shoes on this event.
Very interesting. That's
typically on a different floor would be a good move. But I think,
as we're seeing, they're slipping.
I think on this,
Frank threw 3 though, and pretty quick. That's going to be good points for him already.
It is, absolutely.
If he finishes this, we're talking top 5. Looks like Frank is going to fight through.
Frank.
Nope. He had to call
His way
it. He
only
still got a good
gets-
time on 3, though. Johnny got through 2. Frank had 3 in 29.97. It's very fast for 3. I think I put him in
It
5th.
is. That should be about 5th place.
That's going to be good points for him. It's an event he's going to be very happy with, I think.
And again, we talked about it all day. Being consistent is going to be a huge difference.
Johnny, 2 fingers and 26.5. So that wraps it up.
And we'll also get official points updated in just a little bit. But again, this is a start to a great day, a long day, 6 events. We got a lot going on.
We're here at the San Antonio Food Bank, which does great work for the community. I did a tour with them, and I got to tell you, they provide meals to not only homeless people in need. They do veteran work. They cook meals for schools in the local area. What they do is they process deer and give it to families. It's amazing what they do here. And this is not like I'm going to donate canned goods. This is a legitimate enterprise. They do classes, teach people how to cook.
Amazing.
It's a great location, great people. That's the beauty of the sport is good people coming together.
And we just want to thank all of our sponsors today for supporting America's Strongest Man, Strongman Corporation, ADL Live, and the U.S. Army. Amazing support here for our strongest men in America today. Like I said, we'll be back in a little bit. We're going to get the course reset, add some weight to these implements, get some points for you, and we'll be back in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, so we are back getting ready for the log, clean, and press event. So we have the 105s coming up. Again, 315 pounds clean each.
For each rep. It's going to be very taxing.
Now, if you haven't seen, we're going to do a quick points recap. So in the 105s, again, 10 athletes. From last to first, we have Johnny Wazico, Nate Bowling. Then we have Matt Moeller, Alex Bromley, Tyler Young, Frank Provenzano, Jeff Lee. And then the top 3, we have Tommy Sharp, Nick Camby, and James Deffenbaugh.
Yep, and I tell you, out of those, the one to watch, it's got to be Nick. He holds overhead world records for a reason, so I think he's going to show out in this event. And we're getting ready here to go to Johnny Wazico.
So again, Johnny Wazico coming up 315 pounds.
I think Johnny will be happy to get a rep or 2 here. I know he's had shoulder problems in the past. It's kind of hit and miss, competing for so long and being at such an advanced age.
Johnny typically goes with a split jerk technique, so like you said, if he can get a couple of reps here, it would be great for him.
Good pick. Easy
Solid
clean.
clean.
Just missed it there.
So he's just a little bit shy, and he's deciding he's just going to pull out.
The thing with this log specifically is the handles are 2 inches wider than a normal log these guys train on. So it does affect things when you split jerk because it just changes mechanics a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, one thing that you notice there on the clean, his elbows came in a little bit. Typically what I like to see is I like to see the elbows either pointing straight forward or actually a little bit out, because what that's going to do, it's going to activate the lats, almost give you like a lat spread, like a bodybuilding
I call
pose.
it like the locking your lats. That's what I call it.
Exactly. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you a little bit better of a shelf to have a nice stable position on. Your elbows aren't going to drop when you dip, because that is the big thing, especially with a log like this. This diameter is slightly larger than 12 inches as well on the Bartos log. So that, again, that's just working against these athletes.
Especially with this kind of weight, 315 pounds coming out in front of you is not fun.
No, I mean, a 350-pound press for anybody is impressive. So stepping up, we have Nate Bowling with a small cameo just before from Tyler Young walking in front of us over here. But again, 315 pounds over on the log.
And Nate's recovering, I believe, from a bicep injury, so we'll see how this clean goes for him. Easy clean, good clean for Nate. It's a little heavy to go up the push press.
I would like to see his hands rotated a little bit more forward. They're a little bit pointed down.
He's grabbing the handle a little too close to him, I believe.
Absolutely.
Give it another go here.
His
good clean.
This is a little bit better position, but you can see he's pressing just out in front of him a little bit.
He's having to lean back on it.
Being out in front of it like that, you're not going to be able to engage your triceps as much in the press, which is why you can see him getting stuck about halfway up the press.
That and it's 315 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. And he exerted too much energy in the first attempts. He wasn't. That's all right though. It's a heavy log. This is not light. So we have 2 zeros to start the event. That's going to show you how humbling and tough this event is going to be for everyone.
Like we've talked about it before. 315 pounds, clean each rep. It really is. It's not a lightweight to begin with.
Right.
And then we're saying, hey, let's just go for 60 seconds, see how many you can knock out.
Just do it till you can. It's tough.
So we have Matt Moeller coming up. Decent performance on the Fingle fingers before.
Absolutely.
Let's see what he can do here on the press.
Not one of the larger athletes. We'll see how his overhead is. I know him for a while. He's very serviceable, but again, he's been in the sport so long. Sometimes he carries some injuries.
Kind of a wide stance here on the pick. Clean looks pretty solid.
Lean back again.
Again, leaning back, pressing out forward.
With that one, I think if he would have maybe had a little more confidence, he could have put through on that one.
I think so too.
It gets tough it's different when you're commentating than when you're doing it. It don't feel like you're
for
there.
Sure. But I think what we can talk about again is, it's a very similar clean position to what we just saw with Nate. You can see his hands pointed down. They're not rotated forward.
Yep, it's his shoulder, yep.
It looks like his shoulder. You mentioned that he sometimes carries some injuries into the show, and that's looks like what's going on today.
Yeah, you hate to see it, but, valiant effort by Matt.
So 3 zeros to start the log, and again,
I'm surprised.
I am too, not discrediting these athletes whatsoever, but at this level, I feel like this is a weight we should see at least 1 or 2 reps.
Yes, you tend to see this kind of weight easily being thrown around, so it's a testament to the injuries you carry and the weight cuts, I think.
Absolutely.
I know Alice is pretty good at pressing, so I think it's for a solid 3. Yes, very smooth.
Nice job. Really small dip there, so great shoulder power on
Absolutely.
that press for Alex.
2, no problem. He's got a good motor on him with this one.
He does, and you see our head judge Brian Bowen being nice and sure with
tougher
those
on the
down
third.
calls.
Grinding through that 4th rep. You got to wonder if he can get 6, because
6 would be big numbers. We're
Very
at
big.
4.
Easy clean.
Clean is very effective.
5.
Great tricep strength.
Yep, he's going to take a break here. He knows this. He knows this 6 reps.
One more rep.
Points.
This is big points, right?
Very big
So
points.
about 10
6
seconds
reps.
left. Let's see what Alex can do here.
A little too much, that's all.
Just
5 reps, so 5 reps for Alex Bromley.
5 reps. Great job from Alex Bromley. And you can see, I will say that last rep, you saw he wasn't using much leg drive to begin with, but you could definitely see that the legs come completely out of the equation once you get that gassed. 60 seconds is a long time to be working.
You drain. With a heavy log, heavy lifts like this, when it goes, it tends to go.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing you can do.
No, there's no getting it back.
The most helpless feeling is towards the end of 60 seconds on a log press event.
So here we go. Tyler
Young,
coming
phenomenal
up.
presser. I think he's going to give Alice a run for his money here. There, easy. He's going with the split jerk off the bat.
Going with the split jerk, which is going to save his pressing, but it does use a lot of energy.
Oh, that's like a modified split right there.
Looks very efficient. The biggest thing here is we have to see the reset time in between events, in between reps, right? Going with a split jerk, it's going to take a little bit.
Look, he's
very
moving a little,
efficient.
He's not hustling, I would say. He's very methodical with this. I think he knows that 6 is kind of the top end.
I think he knows a pace that he wants to set.
4 right here.
And he's sticking to it. So again, 20 seconds. He needs at least 1 more rep to tie Alex. I think that's what he's looking to do because it doesn't look like he's going to try to push it for number 6.
Very easy. I think, it's very smart. I think he was methodical with that. I think he was good for as many as he wanted to do in that one because he didn't struggle at all.
Absolutely. I think, again, like we talked about before, this is a long day, 10 athletes. Strongman at this level is a game.
It is.
And that's what a lot of people, tend to forget. When you get to this level, this many high-level athletes competing, it's not just about going out and going 100% in every single event the entire time. there is a little strategy that has to be played. And again, these athletes working hard. 60-second events for max reps. It's 60-second sprint essentially.
Yeah, it is. It's full exertion for 60 seconds, so that's going to tax anybody.
So Frank Provenzano coming up. He did get a little injured on his left arm on the Fingle fingers. So let's see how that affects him on the log press here right now.
Good clean. So I don't think his biceps. Good press.
Really comfortable.
Very solid.
What I liked most about that is he's being methodical here. I think he knows there was 3 zeros to start the events. I don't know if 5 is in his wheelhouse, so he just needs to use the 60 seconds efficiently to try to get as many reps as possible.
Absolutely. He was a little less explosive there. I think if he takes he can get another rep if he takes a little bit of a break and really focus on the drive out of the dip. That's what he lacked there.
Yeah. Kinnear's training partner Johnny Wazico in the background cheering him on. That's one of the best parts about this sport.
Yep.
Something you and I have experienced time after time.
Oh, almost got it.
Almost there.
That's all right. That was close, very close. You got
Gets
a rep,
one
though.
rep.
He got on the board, and that's important, obviously. I mean, immediately places him above 3 people.
Yeah, and again, at this stage of the game, points matter, right? Not taking a 0, automatically coming in with 7, coming in with at least 3 points in this event. So we have Jeff Lee coming up now.
Jeff told me before he's hoping to hit 3 or 4. And I don't doubt him because he's split drill technique. And he's a very impressive athlete.
Jeff is one of those guys we talked about. Again, he's always kind of consistently in the mix during every show, right? Will he have amazing standout performances? Maybe not. But he's always going to be in that top 5 for every event.
Easy. There he goes. Good
push jerk on that. One of the things working against Jeff in this event is his height, and he has unbelievably long arms.
Yeah, his levers are legitimately ridiculous, but that's going to serve him well in the deadlift.
Absolutely, it does. He is a great deadlifter, but you can see him using this push jerk technique really effectively and work towards his advantage.
And you can see he knows what he wants. He's taking his time to make sure he gets that and doesn't miss a rep.
Absolutely.
That's the worst thing you could do is hit a rep but not get the down call because your energy's wasted.
So he's got 3. He said to you before 3 or 4. We're about 20 seconds left. He can get one more if he can really commit to this final rep.
I think he's going to give it all there. I think he's going to be smart.
This is going to be big points for Jeff if he can get this rep.
Easy. This is it right here. Good points for Jeff. Oh. That's it.
Just a little bit.
We said earlier, when it goes, it goes.
So 3 reps there for Jeff.
You hit that wall, and that wall's made of solid oak. You're
not going through it anytime.
Yep.
But again, 3 great reps for Jeff. That puts him, in second place for this event. Not a bad place to be after taking 4th on the Fingle fingers.
Absolutely.
But again, we have 3 studs coming up. We have the top 3. We have Tommy Sharp, Nick Camby, and James Deffenbaugh to finish out the 105s.
Yep. And I know Tommy wants 5 or 6. I mean, Tommy's good for it. He's very, very efficient overhead, very strong.
I think we're going to see these next 3 guys kind of push that pace. We know we have 2 guys tied with 5 reps.
So they know what they got to beat.
Exactly. And that's, an advantage of doing well in the previous event. You get to see what other guys do. It gives you that number of where you have to be.
Absolutely.
Athlete ready. Judges ready. Left.
Oh, a little trouble on the dip there. Good press. There he goes.
Easy split jerk, and this goes back to the diameter of the log. I think what we saw there is that first dip pulled him off of his heels a little bit, so he wasn't going to be able to really drive for that press.
Absolutely. I think he figured it out. I think he got used to it.
Now it's time to just go to work.
Yep, he's just got to go now. Got 3 reps good.
Can see fatigue coming in a little bit on that last dip. You notice his elbows fall just a little bit. That's when you can tell that upper back starts getting tired.
Yep. He needs 2 more reps out of this. He's getting a little tired. Yep, there it is.
And there's that wall we talked about. Only about 10 seconds left. Tommy with 3 reps. Looks like he's going to bow out there.
He's going to be he's not going to be happy with that performance.
No, I agree. He did well at the press medley at Clash.
Yeah.
Did very well on day 3 with the axle.
Yep.
So we know what he's capable of.
I think it's a the weight cut. And again, this log we talked about, this is not your standard log.
No, I mean, the Bartos log is, I believe, about 12.5-inch diameter. So again, half-inch makes all the difference because it's going to pull you that much more forward, make adjustments on the fly. And now we have the current log press world record holder for 105, Nick Canby.
Here, I think.
So he has, again, 5 is the number to beat right now with 2 guys tied at 5 reps. I think we're going to see Nick Canby go to work and try to take over that first place position.
I do think so. He's definitely going to he's very confident in his log, I'll put it that way.
He's efficient.
Push pressing, easy.
And I like this technique. We see Nick, he took the world record with a split jerk, but,
He works very hard on his push press, though.
From one split jerk athlete to another, if you can utilize the push press as much as possible, then go to the split jerk when you're fatigued. Again, it just helps that time and that transition in the first part of the event.
Absolutely. He looks like a machine on this event.
Here's the thing with Nick. He's methodical, right? I think, and this is going to be a big statement, but it's almost Big Z-esque when it comes to log press for reps.
He is.
Because what you notice is his feet don't move out of position.
At all.
He literally has been glued to that spot. And again, we talk about energy conservation. We talk about being efficient throughout the lift. And there is 6 reps for Nick Canby.
Nicholas Canby putting on a pressing clinic here.
And just, again, it comes down to efficiency of the movement, right? His feet didn't move. He had a pace that he knew he was going to stick to, and he just stuck to his game plan the entire time.
Absolutely. And, again, confidence is a big role in that. He knew what he could do, what he had to do, and he just went and did it.
So this is where the points game starts to come into place, right? We know James Steffenbaugh is 1 point ahead of Nick Canby. James Steffenbaugh coming up knowing he needs at least 5 reps to stay in the lead.
Absolutely. We'll see what James can do. Very intense when he competes. Oh, no. Looks like he maybe...
Looks like he got a little lightheaded there. Again, the press coming out in front of him.
Yeah.
Playing situations, a 0 here is going to be very costly for James today.
You don't want a 0 in an event ever.
Not able to get the down call.
He was close. His right arm was not quite locked out there.
You can see the log drifting forward a little bit over time. He has to get that head through. And again, our head judge, Brian Bone, he is a stickler when it comes to being strict.
As you should be in pressing events. You should not give soft lockouts. Good job on
the down call, so we know he has won.
Looks like he's
some points on the board. And it looks like he's going to call it there.
That was big for him.
That is great. Again, a 0 is extremely costly.
Yeah.
Coming in for 1 rep, 3 attempts for 1 rep takes some energy.
He does.
But so what we're going to do, we're going to take a little bit of a break right now.
Hey, it's Eric Cooper, President and CEO of your San Antonio Food Bank, and I have been humbled to see such need in this unprecedented crisis of COVID-19. It was met with unprecedented support, and although the line is shrinking, we're still feeding 90,000 people a week. To do that, we're going to need your help. To learn more and to get involved, please visit our website at safoodbank.org.
This is just a strongman deadlift where you pull and hitch, and Johnny got the opening weight.
So Johnny's good there for 675.
So what we're going to do here is all these athletes are going to come attempt the opening weight. They have the option to skip, and then we're going to bump the weight up at a set weight. They don't get to call their own weights like in powerlifting.
Absolutely, and just so you all watching at home know kind of the weight jumps we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing 675 for all the 105 athletes.
Yep.
Then at 725, the heavies are going to jump into the party, and we're going to have a little fun with everybody.
Correct.
From there, it's pretty much 20-pound jumps outright from there. So we're going 725, 45, 65, 85, then 805, 825, and then we're going to see who's left in to go from there.
Absolutely. And it's going to be very competitive. I think this is an event where a lot of times you're going to have people kind of stall at a weight and a lot of ties. So it's going to be very important to separate yourself from the pack.
Absolutely. And that's, again, we talk about strategy, and that's what today is all about. This is the third of 6 events.
Good
That
lift
looks
from
like-
Matt Moeller at 675. I think we're seeing a couple guys at 675 might be their top end weight.
Yeah,
Again,
you know,
it's not a lightweight. This is a heavy opening weight.
not at all, especially when you weighed in yesterday after most of these athletes cut anywhere between 10 and 20 pounds with a water cut.
Absolutely.
Trying to rehydrate. It is hot. This is, again, we're also doing a max deadlift as a third event of the day.
Absolutely. They've already taxed their bodies a lot. You know, we got Frank here, who's actually a favorite to do really well in this event. He's a very good deadlifter. I know he doubled 815 for 2 and made speed rep at 675. So that makes sense. James Deffenbaugh. Now, I know James has had some problems with his back recently. He's really hoping to hit this opening weight. And I know, if I know James, though, he turns it on game day.
Absolutely. He's definitely a competition performer. So hopefully we can see James have a nice successful lift here at 675. Great start for James today on the Fingle fingers. A little bit of a bobble there on the log press, but let's see what he can do here.
Going. He needs this rep. Good rep for James.
Little slow off the floor with a high hip pull, but he came through at the top pretty easy.
I think he's going to be happy with that. I know he's going to be happy with that. You know, it was a concern for him.
So Jeff Lee, one of our taller, lankier 105 athletes. Again, we talked about on log press, long arms, makes for great
Freakishly
deadlift
long
leverages.
arms. Yes, he's very good at deadlifting too. Look at that, off the floor, smooth.
Nice and smooth, nice and controlled.
Good lift for Jeff. Tommy Sharp, so Tommy's not a great deadlifter, but I think he has it in his mind. He's a competitor, and I think he's going to do well. I think he's going to hit the sevens today.
You know, that's the thing about these competitions is what you do in the gym obviously matters to train and prepare for a contest, but showing up on game day is really what matters.
That's what matters more. Absolutely.
Tommy Sharp strapped in.
Oh. Tommy really needs this.
Little slow off the floor, but you can hear the crowd getting behind him here. And it looks like he's going to grind it out. Tommy Sharp, got to get those hips through. That's
Very good for
the
Tommy.
lift.
Wow.
I will say, that is one of the hardest things to do in our sport. When you are going for a max deadlift, it comes off the floor, you give it everything you got, and it doesn't go. To come back and hit that within that 60-second time limit is unbelievably impressive.
That is something you don't see. You know, wow. He's not going to be happy with his lift, but he's got to be happy with his ability to overcome.
Absolutely. Good lift there for Alex Bromley.
Yep, great lift for Alice.
So 2 more lifters to go. We're just going to tighten up the bar a little bit. We have Tyler Young and Nick Canby coming up to finish out the first attempts on the deadlift for the 105s.
Tyler's another big puller.
Believe Tyler's pulled over 800.
He has hit 800 suited and 7s. No, I think he had 800 on a mammoth bar, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Little
Still,
more whip. Yep.
a great pull.
Yeah, very strong. Not taking nothing away from
As
him.
one who's currently training with the mammoth bar, I can attest to how difficult that actually is.
Yeah. He's got them fancy wow straps. Good pull for Tyler.
Nice and confident, back locked in.
And Canby's up. You know, Canby traditionally has been a poor deadlifter, but he has attacked that weakness, and now it's one of his strengths.
You know, over the past year and a half, we've really seen a complete 180 in Nick Canby as a competitor. We've known he's strong. We know he's just an all-around great athlete, but
Absolutely.
something has clicked for him,
Yep.
and that should scare every other 105 in the world.
For me, I think he is the 105 to beat in the entire world until he decides not to be at this point.
I agree.
And we are bumping up to 725 pounds, 50-pound jump. So I think we're going to see some of these guys tap out here. Some might attempt it, some might just forego it based off their first attempts from what I've seen.
Yeah, and we're also going to see the heavyweights jump in at this weight as well.
Yep. Absolutely.
So it looks like Johnny is going to pass. He's going to not attempt the 725, which
Correct.
again probably a smart move on his
It is.
part.
Save some energy.
He pulled the 675 nice, and it was a tough pull, but he got it.
Tough, solid rep. That's what I would call
And
it.
he knows not to waste his energy. So we have Nate Bowling here going at 725.
Good lift for Nate.
So Nate has a pretty high hip deadlift. It's almost very stiff-legged.
It's a lot similar to mine. I have a high hip deadlift. I had to adapt due to my knee issues. But once you learn how to pull with a high hip, it really doesn't change a whole lot of the strength you can get from it. And a lot of times it's advantageous, especially off the ground.
For sure. And if you have that upper back strength to pull your hips through, then it works out well for you.
Absolutely. But it's something you have to develop. Don't start
So Matt
pulling high.
Moeller coming up now, again, 725 pounds on the bar. This will be a big pull for Matt. The 675 didn't look easy,
Did not, yep.
but it looks like he's going to give this a good go.
And
Oh,
not
and
gonna
that
happen today for him.
looks
That's
stapled
okay.
to the ground, so he's going to bow out. So we have Frank Provenzano stepping up now. Again, we talked a couple weeks ago before leading up to this show, had a great deadlift of 815 for a double. Let's see, game day again, cutting weight, competition
factors.
time. Let's see how he can pull it together.
Easy, 725
But he
for
looks
Frank.
comfy at 725.
He's going to be one to watch. Interesting that James is coming for the 725.
I think with James, what we saw is he was a little bit slow off the floor, but once that bar started moving, he was able to pull through.
Correct. He wants to get points. He wants to separate himself from the guys that tapped out at 675. I don't think it's going to move for him.
Unfortunately not.
Too tall of an order today, and that's okay.
Yep.
We got points on the board. That's really what's important.
So we have Jeff Lee coming in again, 725 pounds, and these
Again, that's a
athletes
50
weigh.
pound jump. Sometimes that could be a little shocking when you first feel it going jumps like that.
Absolutely, and we're moving quick. I mean, Jeff just lifted 675 roughly 4 or 5 minutes ago, so
Good news
we've
is
been moving quick.
scientifically, 3 to 5 minutes is all you need.
Oh, science.
We don't
Nice
believe in
pull
science. This is
from-
Strongman. Good lift for Jeff. All right, Alice Bromley's up.
So he had a great pull at 675.
He did. Very easy pull. I expect this to be the same here. There he goes. It's going to be good points for him.
So, as you can see, these weights are no joke, right? We've had 4 guys bow out at 725, 4 guys successful at 725,
Yep.
with 2 athletes left, Tyler Young and Nick Camby, which we do expect both to hit this weight.
Absolutely. You got to wonder if they're going to give him a little bit of break in between this and the next jump, because as you wind down the athletes, I wonder if they're going to bring the heavyweights in now or if they're going to wait.
I think the smart thing to do would be bring in the heavyweights to give these 105s a little bit of a break, let
Agreed.
them get their energy back to come back and give the 765 a really good chance.
Agreed.
Or 745, I believe.
Good pull from Tyler. A little tougher than I expected from him.
I think with Tyler, what we saw was his shoulder stayed over the bar a little bit longer than they typically do.
Yeah.
He didn't get his hips involved in a pull as quick as we would expect.
And again, sometimes the fatigue of the day messes with your mechanics. You can't get in the position you normally do.
Absolutely. So Nick Camby here, 725.
Look at that. from
Nice
Nicholas
and
Camby.
smooth.
Strong pull from Nick Camby.
So we have 6 athletes remaining. We're going to jump the bar up to 745 pounds for the third attempts.
Looks like we got Nate Bowling stepping up already. He's ready to go.
Wasting no time once that bar is loaded.
Yeah, he wants it. Good. A little hitch. got the down.
Got it through. Nice pull.
Interesting for me is some of these guys, a few of these guys, I would skip 745 if I were them and go right to 765.
And again, that comes with the game that we've talked about all day.
Absolutely.
We have Frank Provenzano.
And Frank is skipping.
He is going to
weight,
skip 745.
which I think is the right call given how he pulled the last one and his confidence in himself.
It's why waste your energy?
Yeah, because 20-pound jumps, I mean, you do waste some energy.
Absolutely. And again, I think this is an event where Frank can make up a lot of points, push himself up into the leaderboard. So he's going to, like you said, save some of that energy, go for a big pull today. Jeff Lee stepping up at 745.
Oh, wow. Good.
Wow.
That's probably the best lift he's had.
Fantastic pull from Jeff Lee.
Good pull from Jeff Lee. Wow. I'm so, just from a personal aspect, I'm very happy he's coming back and he's performing so well after, being gone for so long and loving the sport as he does. It's amazing to see athletes come back and just enjoy what they do again.
He is another one that has been around the game for a long time. It's been a few years since he's competed last.
Yep.
So to see him show out here, and he's putting on a great show as of right now, tied for third overall.
Absolutely.
So it's not a bad comeback performance for Jeff Lee whatsoever.
Absolutely. He definitely deserves to be here on the higher echelon.
So Alex Brownlee stepping up again, 745 pounds on the bar.
And he's stable.
Ooh, and it just looks a little bit too much for him.
Yep. So Alex Brownlee's going to tap out at 725. He's going to be disappointed with that. More guys than I expected are hitting these weights. So
I think so. And again, that just goes to show the level of competition and how impressive these 105 athletes are.
High level, and to come in here as an amateur like that and really hang with them, definitely speaks to the athlete.
So Tyler Young, we talked about 725 was not his best pull right before this.
Correct.
So let's see if he can make a little bit of a form correction and go for the 745.
Right at the knees, he fell. Looks like he's
had it moving. Looks like a little woozy.
Yep.
But again, 60 seconds on the clock. If I were him, I would take a little bit more time, wait until you get that 15-second call, and then give it one more good shot.
Correct. Looks like he's not rushing for sure.
And he's going to bow out.
All right, so Tyler Young also out at 725.
So we have Nick Canby
with who's it? Nate and Alex.
Yeah.
So you have three people right now sharing
Nate
points.
was successful at 745.
Oh, correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have Alex and Tyler at 725.
Okay.
Then Tommy, James, Matt, and Johnny at 675. So we clean off the platform a little bit for Nick Canby to step up and attempt 745 pounds.
And I'm surprised Nick is going for this, to be honest. I would assume the way he's been pulling, he would have went right to 765. But Nick knows best. I ain't going to question the man's methods.
He might be playing a little game of strategy, doing this, gets him some good points. He knows Frank skipped it. Great
good
pull.
For Nicholas. Very good lift.
So we have 4 athletes remaining. We have Nate Bowling, Frank Provenzano, Jeff Lee, and Nick Canby going up to 765 pounds.
And this is where the points really start separating, especially if they start hitting and missing with 20-pound jumps and they don't all stay on one weight. That's where you can really get some points.
And that's, again, that's why I feel this was a strategic move for Frank to skip the 745 and go right to 765. Because if it does come down to a tiebreaker, he is going to be the one that jumps up ahead of points because he hit this weight on less attempts than the other athletes.
And Frank Provenzano's back in it.
So again, this is Frank's third attempt at, coming in at 765. He feels pretty confident about this lift today, so, we're hoping and excited to see some big numbers pulled.
Absolutely. Easy pull from Frank.
Smooth pull from Frank Provenzano.
Nice He's a very good deadlifter.
This is the event that he can really make a push.
Absolutely.
And see, if he can again.
That win.
And that would be great points for him going into the final 3 events.
Jeff, let's see if Jeff can get on the board at 765.
And talking to Jeff before this event, this was his number that he wanted to hit at this show.
Jeff fighting through it. Good lift at 765.
Great pull for Jeff Lee at 765.
Yes, he's going to be very happy with that.
His first competition since December of 2017.
Looks like he's a little shaken up from it a little bit. Maybe he's blacking out. Or is he happy? I can't even tell.
Yes, I think is the answer.
he's everything right now.
He is. I mean, that's, again, just as well as I do, when you set a goal for a number that you want to pull in a show, and once you're able to hit it, it's huge.
If Nick pulls this, it'll be the first time he's hit 765.
I mean, this will be a great pull. Again, we have 2 athletes already successful. Nick is in first, which is great. But this, again, he wants this number.
He does. He wants this.
Great pull from Nick Camby.
Great work for Nick.
And he's definitely happy. Definitely happy with that lift. That's great. So we have 3 105 athletes left. We have Frank Provenzano, Jeff Lee, and Nick Camby.
If I'm Frank, I skip this. If I'm Frank.
He walked by the table looking at us, wanting 800. I agree with that. I think the 765, 805 is probably the smart move here. He is also at a disadvantage, though, because he is pulling first out of the 3 athletes.
That is very true.
So it is that game again. If he makes the jump to 805, misses, and the other guys pull 785, he loses.
That's a very good point. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, if he was last, I think he would make that jump. But you have to secure the points.
But based on how 765 looked before, I feel like this should go.
I agree. I don't see an end in sight right now with him.
Such a smooth
Easy
pull.
pull.
His positioning is really impressive throughout the entire pull. His back stays so rigid. Once the bar gets to his knees, you see his chest shoot up. Again, gets those quads involved in the pull. Right. It really is a great looking deadlift.
So good at deadlifting. It's an art for him. Let's see if Jeff can knock this out.
Jeff Lee
moving.
Right at the knees, loses it.
Looks like he maybe lost a little bit of his consciousness.
So again, 60 seconds, so he has some time to attempt this again.
Yep, that's it. So Jeff bows out. A solid 765, though.
765 is not a bad number to end the day on, though, that's for sure.
He has that. That's his sole points. He's not sharing that with anyone. So he gets full points for that.
Absolutely. So guaranteed 3rd place for Jeff Lee, which is great for him. Separates him a little bit because he was tied for 3rd going into this event.
Yes. Very good point for him.
Here we go, Nick Camby. Again, big PR pull for Nick Camby. He's got it moving.
He's going to hitch it.
And there it is.
785 pounds.
785 for
massive
Nick
deadlift for Nicholas Camby.
I'm partial to that technique.
Why do you point at me? What did I do? Amazing deadlift from Nick. He's telling you, he fixed his one weakness, and it's his strength now. One thing I know about Nick, if he can get that to his knees, he's going to lock it out.
Absolutely. You see that the hitching technique that Nick uses, something that I've done in my career, was made popular by the great Derek Poundstone in the mid to late 2000s. And again, it is one of that technique. It's if you get it to the knees, you can reset that back and get the glutes involved. The pull's going to go.
Absolutely, it's almost a second lift. The technique involved in learning to do it. It's not something that comes naturally. It's something you have to learn.
Yeah. So Frank Provenzano with
He's feeling himself right now. He's confident in this 805.
He had an extremely convincing 785 pull. Again, going for 805. This will be the first time Frank has ever pulled over 8 in a contest.
Correct. Moving.
It's moving. Oh, and stalls out just at the knees.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the mythos of the 800-pound deadlift. But it seems to be it's a stopping point.
And Nick is also going to call it, again, smart strategic move from Nick Canby there. Why waste the energy? So some amazing pulls. We see the top pulls in the middleweights for the 105s at 785 pounds. We're going to take a quick break and come back to the sandbag carrying load medley.
Through our struggles, there are opportunities. Opportunities that can change us and change the world. Born out of risk, strife, persistence, and triumph, our achievements define us as humans. From the bottom, we can rise. Risen, we can dominate. We are strong. We are pioneer. Through our struggles, there are opportunities.
Sure he gets the bags, which is important. I think with a lot of these guys, I think what's going to be important is getting a fast 3 bags, because that 4th bag is going to stop a lot of people.
Exactly. And Johnny asking for a little loving from the crowd. This is also a really hard event to do after a max deadlift.
Yep, there are a lot of posterior chain being taxed today. And he knows better. He's going to call it.
He decides to bow out, count his losses. Oh, yeah.
38.75 for 3 bags.
So not a bad time for the first 3 bags. Again, like you said, the fast first 3 is going to make a huge difference. All right, Matt Moeller coming up now.
Matt Moeller. Good pick with that one. There he goes. And he's moving. He's got a sense of purpose right here.
Nice and comfortable there.
It's because he knows what he has to beat, so he's aware.
Again, 3 bags, 38.75 seconds.
He's going to pick and then turn as he starts to move. Very smart, save some time.
Efficiency, again, we've talked about it all day. Quick through the first 2, needs to move this one well.
Exactly. 325, good. Pretty easy. See if he can move quickly and get over.
This is where we see those glutes and hamstrings start to go.
Good load. Now here comes Big Bertha.
Again, 355 pounds for this final bag. And it looks like he's going to call it as well.
That's how they're going to have to pick it. They're not going to be able to lay it down and grab it sideways like the other bags. They're going to have to bear hug it up to their lap.
So Matt Moeller a little bit quicker than Johnny Wazico with 3 bags and 34.90.
Okay.
All righty, James Steffenboss stepping up. Again, 3 bags and 34.90, time to beat. A little bit of stumble on the
there he goes,
first,
moving though.
But he's moving. You can see him taking a more bear hug approach to the pick.
That's what he's doing for all these bags. That's how he likes to load. Working out for him.
It's a risky move because the bottom of the bag is not as high, so it does make the load a little bit harder. But it works. It seems to be working well for James.
He might do a quick relap. Got it. Great. Wow.
3 quick, and now he can really take his time and get this 4th bag.
If he can get this one, this is big points. Very good. He just has to get it over.
Position's not great. He's got 20 seconds, so trying to re-pick and reset is going to be huge.
And as we said, just getting this over is going to be big points. And it seems just a little too much here, 4th event of the day. Great.
But a very fast 3.
Very fast. He's going to be disappointed in himself, but he still did a great job.
I mean, that's 11 seconds faster than the previous time. You know, so 3 bags, 23.58. That's going to be a hard time to beat because, again, these athletes loading this fourth bag is going to be hard. I don't see many athletes being able to complete this run. So we have Tommy Sharp coming into the fold. Again, he's another guy. You know, he is in the mix to get on the podium after a disappointing performance on the deadlift.
Right.
You know, he did come back and have that great 675 pull after missing the first attempt.
It was crazy.
But he's got some work to do with these final 3 events. He looks ready to attack this bag.
See what he's doing.
Methodical on the pick, but moving nice on the carry.
Pretty good moving with that. He looked a little shaky on the move, but there he goes.
I don't know if this will be James's time, but again, if he could get that fourth bag, this could be huge for Tommy Sharp. I feel like that's what he might be doing. He might be trying to pace a little bit to really give that fourth bag a good run.
Yeah, because, I mean, James' time for the 3 is going to be very tough to beat. Well, almost impossible. Good load here. Let's see if he can get this last
there it
bag.
is. Here it is. Tommy Sharp attempting this fourth bag.
Oh,
I like this technique. This was smart.
Very smart. Now, if he can keep that and walk with it.
Oh, unfortunately, not able to maneuver it.
That was a great
position.
attempt, and I did like the way he was going to attack that.
I did too. You know, I think that's going to be essential. Somebody moving the bag that, you know, to carry it horizontally is going to be the only way to get that bag over the bar. So
that puts Tommy in second right now.
Yeah.
With 33.75 seconds.
So we have Alex Brownlee coming up. Again, the weights on these, 250, 300, 325, and 355. Alex Brownlee going to attack that 250 bag.
Pretty smooth. He's moving very fast.
Quick transitions there.
He is
That's
moving
great
very
for
fast.
him.
It's experience in the sport, I think.
A little bit of a bobble here on the 325, but he's got it to his
him.
waist. All right, he's going to take a breath. I did see in warm-ups he was moving this bag pretty well.
Yep. Again, this is a big one. If you get this bag, pretty easy pick. Best so
he's
far,
on his
I
way. Sliding down a little bit. He's going to have to readjust. And he's going to call it there.
I think he was trying to catch it on there so he could flip it.
Yeah.
$29.82 for
29.82 puts him in second place right now.
Right. Does.
Still 5 more athletes to go. So we're still expecting some great performances here. So coming up next, we have Tyler Young. After him, Nate Bowling, Jeff Lee, Frank Provenzano, then Nick Camby.
Yep. Now we're going to see the times. They'll be pushing for this 20-second mark.
Again, still in the lead with 3 sandbags. James Zeffenbaugh at 23.58. That is going to be a hard time to beat.
It'll be very hard, very very hard because it was seamless how he did it.
So here we are, Tyler Young again, 250, 300, 325, and 355.
He didn't even lap it. He just pulled it.
That was great. A nice little one motion carry for Tyler. Going into the 300-pound bag.
Looks like he tried to do the one motion, had to recover there, regroup. And he is the shortest athlete, so this loading is definitely going to take a little more out of him than it does
Absolutely.
others.
It's something that he has to get a little bit more over, get a little oomph over the bar in order to get these implements. And also what works against him, his, being a shorter athlete, that wingspan works against him for a pick on these bigger sandbags.
Right. He looks a little frustrated with himself, but that's just he holds up to a pretty high standard. Great effort, though, from Tyler.
2 bags in 20.59 seconds. 2 bags in 20.59 seconds.
Knowing Tyler, I know that one's going to eat at him a little bit. He's not going to be too happy with that performance. That being said, there's still 2 events to go.
Right.
And knowing we have a max sandbag toss, it could be an event that he ends up making up some points.
I do think he's going to sneak some points in. He's actually pretty good at throwing for given his stature and size. Deceivingly good.
Yeah. And after that, we do have an event that I feel like does lend itself to Tyler a little bit in the Husafell carry, because as we talked about at the beginning of the show, grit and just dealing with pain is what that event is about. And if we know one thing about Tyler, it's that he doesn't know how to quit.
Yeah, you're going to have to peel him off the floor. He's not going to quit with that thing.
Exactly. So, a little bit of a hiccup here for Tyler Young, but again, definitely not down and out. Next up, we have Nate Bowling coming up. A great, impressive performance on the deadlift for Nate.
Yeah, so he came in because they tied for first, second, and third.
All right, and here he is stepping up.
Pretty good with that first bag. Just got to be fast with these.
Again, James Deffenbaugh still in first place with 3 bags in 23.58 seconds.
Nate moving pretty good that second.
Not wasting any time jumping into that 325.
He's going for the
wrestling.
Looks like he felt something in his hamstring. Hopefully he's just a little cramp or
Hopefully
something.
just a little bit of a tweak.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of those events that it's tough after a max deadlift to go into a posterior chain dominant carrying event.
It's very similar movement. I mean, you're picking from the floor, and it's not light. It's 300-some pounds.
Exactly.
So. I do expect Jeff to do pretty well here.
Jeff is a guy that can move. You look at him, he looks athletic. We've talked about his levers today. Longer arms, which does definitely lend itself to a good carry. He can wrap his arms around that sandbag, pick it pretty easily. And then he also has the height on his side for the load.
Right. Yeah, and again, he is very strong. On top of all that, he's very strong.
Had a great deadlift today, pulling 765.
He had good performance on the log, a good performance on the fingers. He's right up there with these guys.
I mean, actually, Jeff is sitting in second place overall right now after 3 events.
I'm very happy to see that. And I think he's going to solidify that here.
And here he goes. Taking that same technique that we saw James Deffenbaugh do.
Very easy for him.
I think the thing I like most about Jeff is you could just see how calm he is throughout the event.
His belt popped off. He's going to toss it. That's what I'm talking about.
It's a good move. You don't want to be fumbling around with it.
Yep. Taking a little bit more time. You got to wonder where this is going to place him with the 3. I think it might be outside Bromley's time.
He did go up to this 355, so I think he might be able to give it a good run.
He is tall enough, and I think he has the length.
And he has great hip mobility to be able to get low on the back.
He's able to lock
pick.
his hands too around it.
He's got it. So this is the position we've needed to see. He's able to rest it on his knees. Here we go.
Come on, Jeff. Let's go, Jeff.
And Jeff with the first man to complete
Are they going to give it to him?
That's going to be big points.
He does it.
He got it.
All 4 bags.
Amazing.
So Jeff Lee, the first competitor to complete all 4 bags.
That's going to be big points for him.
That is huge for Jeff Lee. Again, we talked about he's second place going into this event. That's going to separate him a little bit. Nick Camby does have a 7-point lead, but again, big points to separate him from the other guys that are trailing him.
And there's been a few fast times, so if Nick could drop points here, pretty big. And I know he's not going to want that to happen, so I can't wait to see his run. Actually,
this is Again, as fans of the sport, this is stuff we get excited about, especially being here right on the sideline at America's Strongest Man. Frank Provenzano, he's sitting in 3rd place today. This, again, an amateur sitting in 3rd place for the 105s.
Right. And you like seeing that. You like seeing guys seize that brass ring, so to speak.
So here we go, Frank attacking these bags, 250.
Frank moving.
Quick feet on that carry.
That's very good. Frank
Very
is
nice
moving.
for
I
Frank
like it.
Provenzano. Easy pick on the 325
these are
too.
not really taxing him.
This is going to be great for Frank to keep him in a great position. 30 seconds left for Frank.
Good low pick. He needs to get on his lap. Nope, he's calling it. he had a fast 3, though.
He did have a great first 3.
So he snuck ahead of Bromley.
Snuck just ahead. You know, so that's good enough for third place right now.
That bumps Bromley down to 4th place so far.
And again, that's a good place for Frank to be.
It is.
So we have our final 105 athlete, Nick Camby, stepping up. Again, 4 bags in just over 60 seconds.
You know, Nick has to break 30 seconds to really make sure his lead's safe.
Yeah. Again, this is where the game really comes into
play. Or
play.
load that last bag.
I'm pretty confident Nick could, I think he can move quickly through these first 3.
Agreed.
I don't think that should be much of a struggle for him as long as no mistakes happen. Here we go. Nick Camby stepping up, our last.
Nick moving fast.
Nice, easy carry on the 250 with a quick transition.
Easy pick. Moving.
Nice one motion carry for Camby.
Good. He is not leaving nothing to chance. He's
no, I
taking
mean,
his points.
and here's the thing. If I was Nick, focus on this third one. Make sure you're getting a good time, which he seems to be moving smooth, and then just end it here.
Yep.
But he's going to give this one a go.
Oh, and he's going.
I like this move.
He's got it. One.
And another event win for Nick Camby.
Nicholas Camby running away with this competition. He's the only one that picked that the way it should have been picked.
4 bags, 41.14 seconds for Nick Camby.
Amazing.
And yet another event win.
He is just not having none of it. He's not having anyone shit. He's not taking anything.
I mean, the thing with Nick, I think here's the thing of why we are so convinced that he is arguably the best 105 in the world.
Yep.
Is he hasn't just won every contest that he's gone to. He's dominated every show he's been at in the past year, along with breaking multiple records.
Yeah, it's not winning, it's dominance. That's what's defining Nick's
not only
legacy right now.
is he athletic and moving well, but he's putting up literal world record-breaking weights.
Yep.
And really just solidifying himself as the top 105 in the world right now.
Absolutely.
We have 2 events left for America's Strongest Man 105. The events left, we have Max Sandbag Toss.
Yep, Max weight over
and then a Husafell carry for Max Distance.
Max Distance. And these are nasty Husafells. You guys are going to really enjoy them.
So we're super excited to bring you the final 2 events and some point updates coming. But until then, we'll take a little break. Alrighty, so we are back getting ready for the bag over bar event. Now we are going for max weight over 15 feet. 105 athletes, we're starting at 40 pounds, and we're going to make 5-pound jumps thereafter.
Right, and this is going to be a tough event after everything they've done. 5-pound jumps are no joke when it comes to bag tossing.
It gets heavy quick, especially over 15 feet. So we're looking at our top 3 athletes. We have in third place Frank Provenzano with 27 points, Jeff Lee in second with 30.5, and Nick Camby with a commanding lead at 38.5.
Yeah, this is a very surprising podium right now, except for Nick. Jeff and Frank were very underappreciated coming into this contest, and Frank's really showing out.
Absolutely. Again, we've mentioned it before. This is Jeff's first show since about 2017. He hasn't been competing, due to numerous things going on. And again, the amateur Frank Provenzano really putting on a great performance today. So as we said, Tyler Young starting. 40 pounds is the first implement here for these athletes.
Yep,
they get 30 seconds.
Yep.
30 seconds to complete the throw.
Goes.
Tyler Young up and over, nice and easy.
Good to go.
So due to an injury on the previous event, Nate Bowling has actually pulled out of the competition. We saw him grab his right hamstring during that Sandbag event. So we wish him the best and hope that it is nothing too serious. Next up, coming Johnny Wazico. Johnny can be a pretty good thrower.
He is. He's actually really known for his throwing. He's very fast. I've seen him on a lot of the medleys, the 4 or 5 bag series, do really well.
You know, so hopefully he can pull through and pull up some points during this event. Now we have Matt Moeller. Nice and easy for Matt, too. Coming up now, we have Tommy Sharp.
Tommy, he's a very good thrower, too. He's had a rough day, so we got to see how he responds to the adversity he faced.
That's a big thing. You know, when you get punched in the mouth, how do you show up and make light work? I think the thing I loved about that is just how casual he made it look.
Yeah, I don't really foresee anybody having issues with the 40-pound bag. I'm kind of surprised they're all going for it, honestly. It's kind of not something you'd
kind of treat it as a final warm-up. We have Alex Bromley here, 40 pounds. Hit it on the way up. That was just a positional error for him, but it did get over.
Pretty easy. Provenzano coming up.
So Frank Provenzano stepping up. Again, 40 pounds, every athlete making it look fairly effortless so far.
Yeah, he's a pretty good thrower as well. Easy work for him.
Great height for Frank. 3 more athletes to go here at 40 pounds. James Steffenbaugh, Jeff Lee, and then Nick Camby.
Just lost it out in front of him a little bit.
And again, 30 seconds.
Easy
there it is,
easy
nice
toss.
and easy. Height, not an issue, just more positioning. Jeff Lee stepping up again has impressed us so far today. 2 more events. Hopefully he can stay in this position.
Absolutely. He's getting a little closer to some of the guys, but that's really try to catch it. There we go.
There it is, up and over.
Yeah, you really have to just know how to throw almost, because you make a little error like that, it could really come back, especially the heavier bags.
I will say, and something we haven't seen many athletes do is, when you look at guys like Brian and Thor and these athletes that are fantastic throwers, what they typically do is they'll measure their spot from underneath the bar.
Yeah.
With steps.
Oh, Nick, he needs to hit this.
There it is.
Right. That's the
height was no
30 seconds.
problem. So all athletes successful at 40 pounds.
Yeah, wow. That'd be a little nervous for him for a second there.
It did for me too. But like I was saying, what we typically see from a lot of the high-level throwers is they'll measure their spot from where they are under the bar. So regardless of what implement you're throwing over, where you are, you always know where you need to stand.
Yep.
And we haven't seen that done yet.
Yep, and I think, that it's a testament especially Max, you don't see it often at this level. But you would think that people would be a little more cerebral in their attempts.
Tyler Young making easy work of the 45. Johnny Wazico, as we mentioned before, made easy work of the 40.
Easy work of the 45.
It's funny because he does have a different technique. If you notice his arms, he actually shorts the throw, uses a lot of wrist action to try to flick it over the bar.
He almost comes through like you initiate like a clean with a barbell where you pull up and shrug.
A lot of these other athletes will see big arm movements, big full extension coming all the way out, and Johnny it doesn't quite work for him. Tommy Sharp up and over with 45.
Yep. I think at 50-55 is where we're going to start seeing people kind of have some problems.
Absolutely.
40-45 is going to be pretty easy.
It looks like we skipped over Matt Moeller, so we're going to jump back to him real quick. Just a little bit shy. Again, the bag did hit the bar on the way up, so he might have it in him.
Oh, that's a tough break.
Again, 30
He's got one
seconds.
more,
He's
though.
got one more good toss. And doesn't look like
quite
it's
have
going to
it.
go.
He is not happy with himself. He got a tough break on that rollback.
Yeah, I mean, but that's certainly going to not help him, points-wise in that position. So good at 40 pounds. Alex Bromley's up now.
Alex missed his first throw, but he had the height. Again, that's a trajectory thing.
And that's, what I was just talking about. It's all about positioning under the bar.
Yeah, because he
Same
really should
thing.
be throwing the same every time. He has to hit this on this.
Now the urgency comes in. Oh, and unfortunately not there.
Nope, not there today for Bromley.
And,
It's gonna cost
again.
him some points too. I didn't expect guys to miss 45. Usually that's just the second bag in our medley.
But again, it just goes to show, having that little bit of extra experience of knowing where to stand every time makes such a big difference.
It is. You should throw the same way no matter every time, same distance. Frank nailed it.
He's got it over.
He was yelling at something.
I don't think he ever got a start command. He never heard a start command.
Easy
James
throw for
Deffenbaugh, nice and easy throw at 45. Two more athletes at 45 pounds, Jeff Lee and Nick Canby.
And again, you have to get this over the bar. You have to have the right trajectory and throw it. You can't screw up. You only have 30 seconds.
Much better
So
throw
what he did better
for
that
Jeff.
time is he followed through with his arm.
Absolutely.
That's what Canby needs to do. He needs to follow through with the bag. I tell people all the time. I grew up as a bowler, and it's very similar to bowling. You have to throw the ball the same way every time, and you have to follow through with your hand. So it's kind of like similar mental cues. Much better from Nick.
Much better from Nick Canby there with 45, and now we're going to jump up to 50 pounds. Now, this is usually the weight for this class where it's kind of a make-or-break weight.
It gets tougher. 55 is the separator. 50 is a tough one. That's kind of because we have evolved. When we first started throwing 3 years ago, is when it really became big. 50 was tougher for everyone, but as we threw, we kind of exceeded that. But this definitely is not a gimme.
So Tyler Young up, coming in at 50 pounds. Nice
Good
toss
throw
from
for
Tyler.
That's a benefit of having a solid bar like that is you can hit it and it won't
Try to use the momentum on your side with
Yep.
the bag.
Easy for Johnny.
Great throw from Johnny, and something that I'm realizing is, the throws, Johnny's actually looking better as it's gotten heavier. He
Yeah,
looks like he's taking his time, being a little bit more deliberate.
A lot of times it's nerves. They're never throwing on this setup specifically, so they're kind of learning it. Easy for
And
Tommy.
Tommy Sharp. Now we're going to jump to Frank Provenzano.
I mean, Frank looks like he's pacing a little bit. He kind of knows where he wants to stand.
Getting into his position.
Yep. Easy throw for Frank.
Nice throw for Frank. And again, we talked about this with the deadlift. And this is one of those events. As we get heavier, the rest time gets shorter. So that's
Right.
going to make it harder for these athletes, especially with an explosive event like a throw.
Yep. Good throw from James. Yeah, you can get tired from explosive things and not even know it until it happens. You don't feel its tax at some events, but it's there.
While this doesn't necessarily tax your CNS as hard as like a deadlift would, it really does those explosive muscle fibers really do burn out quickly.
And Rob knows this. He has a degree.
Oh, Jeff hung on just a little bit too long. Jeff does have to take, I would say he has to take another step forward.
There he goes. He got
Gets it up and over.
That was a big one for him. He needed that. He can't get out at 50. goes Canby.
Nick Canby here, 50 pounds. Oh, just missed it. He needs to take a small step back.
Yep.
Oh, 2 in a row.
He tried to catch it.
Got to take a deep breath here, Nick.
He's got to hit this.
Gets it over.
Drama.
Attempt number 4.
The drama.
I guess he performs well under pressure.
You know, I'm happy he got that because throwing has been kind of his one Achilles heel besides the deadlift.
So it is nice to see him step up a little bit and, you know, be able to hang on this event.
Unfortunately for him, only 2 people had dropped out at the 50. So this is going to be a big a pile up almost. Oh, look at it! Look at it doing Highland Games.
55 pounds here on this bag.
It's a big. That 55 pounds, it matters. That 5 pounds from. As I said, the 55 is where you're really going to see people start struggling.
Oh, and unfortunately, it's not there for Tyler today.
He did have a good lift. He did have a good throw of 50 though. You know, unfortunately for Tyler, and I think there's enough guys here to hit 55 that might cost him some points.
Johnny Wazico, this is a big throw for Johnny. Again, 55 is kind of going to be the separator, so this would be great points. And he gets it easy.
Tommy needs this as well.
Tommy's been solid so far in this event. 50 did not look too difficult, and he's going right at it. No time wasted.
Tommy's very confident in his throwing.
Great throw from Tommy. Now we have Frank Provenzano coming up. Again, this is 55 pounds. This is a solid weight.
Yeah, this is not light. It sounds like compared to what they've been doing all day, but it is not light for what they're doing with it now.
Frank's just got to take a small step back.
He shorted his hop a little bit, I think, on that. He shorted it again.
Yep. There he goes. So he just made that adjustment.
Smart. I think he'll get it here.
He's got the height. There it is.
It was just an adjustment.
Again, all about positioning. You know, especially as these bags get heavier, they're not going to travel as far.
Right.
You know, he was able to get away with that further distance the first couple of times, but this is getting to a weight where it needs to be perfect to go over.
That, and you don't want to spend the energy sending it backwards when you have to send it up, and that's the tough part.
Easy throw for James. Great toss.
In his groove too. Jeff needs this.
Big lift for Jeff Lee. You know, I mean, he's got a couple of guys on his heels.
And if he can hit this, you know, and Canby misses, he makes up some points and makes it a little more interesting in the final event.
Oh,
just a little more is all he need. He lost a little bit of power on that one. That's what happens. We were talking about.
Again, you know, 3 attempts at this weight is not easy. Four throws. He's going to give it one more time.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it's just not there. So 50 pounds
That's a heartbreaker for Jeff. It's, you know, makes things interesting for second place now too, a little bit. Because the guy in third, Frank, is still in. So
still 5 athletes in. You know, I mean, there's points on the board. You know, Jeff needs some guys to miss this next lift, essentially. Nick Canby really giving this a go.
He really needs this.
And it looks like 55 might be just a little bit too much.
It just didn't quite have it in him. Good news for Canby, though, is Jeff misses well.
It is good news for Canby. It also does help Jeff just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that does. That takes another point from losing. So that helps Jeff a little bit. But Jeff ain't going to make up no points on Canby.
So we have 4 athletes left. We are now up to 60 pounds. Now, just for reference, at the Arnold in 2020, this was the first weight for the Max Sandbag for the heavyweight men, and this is what the 105s are doing right now over the same bar height.
It's amazing. It's just how we progressed. I think Johnny can do this.
I think Johnny can do it as well. He's just got to get a little bit more hips into that throw. Oh.
Just a little bit of power. A little more power is all you need behind it. And he ran out. He ain't going to be happy with it.
Not there today. So 55 pounds for Johnny Wazico. Again, does help guys like Jeff Lee and Nick Camby points-wise.
That's true.
It's going to be interesting to see what these last three guys can do. Tommy Shark, Frank Provenzano, and James Deffenbaugh. 60 pounds over a 15-foot bar.
This is pretty exciting.
Tommy needs this one. Looks like he just shorted a little bit. Hitting the bar on the way up. Again, finding that position is crucial.
And Tommy just can't seem to catch a break today.
Oh, and unfortunately, time runs out for Tommy Sharp, so he's 55 pounds, tying with Johnny Wazico. Two athletes left to attempt the 60-pound bag, Frank Provenzano and James Deffenbaugh.
You know, I've been saying the whole time, the guys that get 60 are really going to be the ones that separate.
Absolutely. And this would be huge lifts for both Frank and James.
Absolutely.
You know, I think James was definitely convincing with the 55-pound bag. I think he's got that one.
Yeah, I think James could possibly take the event win if everything goes according to his plan. Based off that, I'm not sure if Frank is going to be able to gather himself. For
it's all about the position
but
here.
You never know. I mean,
the height looks okay, but he's really just got to find that spot.
Yeah.
Oh, and unfortunately not there.
Order.
So here it comes down to James Deffenbaugh. We have a three-way tie for first at 55 right now. James Deffenbaugh, if he gets the 60-pound bag, he walks away with the event win.
Oh, just
hits it on the way up.
Break. As you can see, that's 60 pounds. It
makes all the difference. Up and over, and there's the event win for James Deffenbaugh at 60 pounds.
That's big.
Sole first place for James Deffenbaugh. You know, he was sitting out of third place by 2 points. You know, it definitely is going to make up a lot of points, but, you know, it's definitely going to jumble things up for the podium right now going into the final event.
Yeah, this is going to make the final event really interesting to watch.
We are going to reset the course for the Husafell carry, the final event of our 2021 America's Strongest Man, and we'll be back in a little bit.
Hey, it's Eric Cooper, President and CEO of your San Antonio Food Bank, and I have been humbled to see such need in this unprecedented crisis of COVID-19. It was met with unprecedented support, and although the line is shrinking, we're still feeding 90,000 people a week. To do that, we're going to need your help. To learn more and to get involved, please visit our website at safoodbank.org.
All righty, we are back for the final event of the 2021 America's Strongest Man, the Husafell carry, and these are beasts of implements. So we have Matt Moeller stepping up, going alone, 360 pounds, and this is for max distance on a pretty short course.
Yeah, so they're going to have to turn every, about 25 feet, it looks like, and this is a brutal implement. This is not light to begin with, and then the way it's shaped, it's going to be very tough. There's no... I mean, he is taking smart, though, getting a good grip off his legs.
And that's the thing. So, you know, the thing with this event is it's not at a certain distance where your body gives out. It's usually a certain time. So
yeah,
the best of the best athletes we're going to see are going to be moving pretty quickly, which Matt Muller's doing. He is moving smooth, moving fast, not wasting energy.
Yep, you don't be worried about your breathing, not necessarily breathing, but running out of breath, because you're going to be fine. Your body's going to quit.
Exactly.
It's a finite amount of time you can handle that load.
You get to that point where your glutes and your hamstrings literally just cease to work. They just shut down.
It's going to give out at 45 seconds, no matter what, essentially. So get as much distance as you can in that time. And he's actually doing okay.
Matt Muller's cruising on this. This is a great performance. 360 pounds.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys were worried about it, but apparently this shield is the Freedom Shield.
I think the pick on this is going to be the hardest part, but I think the material that it's made out of, if you're wearing a grip shirt, you can stick it to you.
It's got a lip on it. If you notice, there's a lip, so you can kind of grip it with your fingers. Yeah, that makes all the difference in the world. Guys don't normally get that.
So we're going to get a measurement here and get the distance.
259.9 was the distance for Matt Muller. That's pretty good to start with. Pretty good.
Hands have to start off the implements for the athletes.
Yep,
then
it's
they
in their
get
own time because it's max distance, so they can take all the time they want.
This implement is pretty much the same height as Tyler.
It is. He's carrying himself basically, because I think he weighs about 360.
As wide as he is tall.
He is. He's a thickin', but he's moving well.
He is moving well. I will say with Johnny, his hands are low, but he is a little bit upright, which is going to put a little bit more strain on the biceps. Tyler, his hands seem to be sliding. He's carrying pretty high, leaning back, putting a lot more strain on the hamstrings and glutes.
Definitely the limit advantage Tyler does not have on this.
You can see his fingers slipping off, and unfortunately, he's going to call it there.
Johnny's moving pretty steady.
Johnny's moving good.
Yeah, he's moving. And that's what we're talking about with the time. I mean, you're going to feel it. So you
can see Johnny picking up the speed, and this is going to be a great performance for Johnny Wazico to end the day here at America's Strongest Man.
He's still going. There's no quit in Johnny, I'll tell you.
There never is, especially with an event like this.
Even if shows don't go his way, he does not care. I mean, he's going to give it his all. He rolled his ankle.
So Tyler Young took it a distance of 112 feet. We'll wait a little bit for the distance on Johnny Wazico. So still the distance to beat Matt Muller, 259.9 feet.
That's a lot.
Great performance for Matt Muller coming out hot. I will say, it was what we talked about. Matt went a nice fast pace the entire time.
Yeah. And I think Johnny would have overtaken him if he wouldn't have came off the mat and rolled his ankle a little bit. All right.
So now coming up, we have Alex Bromley and Tommy Sharp.
Right. And, this Tommy's leverages, you think would lend to him being very good at this, but, he's had kind of a disappointing day, so we'll see if he can just push through and really take some points here. And he's moving.
A little bit too far there for Tommy Sharp. Got to stay controlled during this carry.
Tommy is definitely motoring. They're both moving pretty good.
5 laps for Tommy Sharp so far, and he's cruising. About to hit number 6. Alex Bromley actually making up some ground and picking up the speed.
They both need to push here.
We're hitting round 8 for each of them. Alex Bromley stepping ahead.
He is. This does not look fun at all. Tommy's slowing down a little bit. Bromley's still going. They're both still going, though. Uh-oh. The first signs there from Tommy. It looks like Bromley's hitting the wall.
So is
Tommy needs to keep going.
I think that's about 10 rounds for each of them.
Tommy can't quit. Keep going, Tommy.
This is where the grit goes. Got to take a few more steps. Oh, he's losing it.
And that's the problem with when you try and readjust when you're fatigued like that.
Fatigue like that, the body's just going to give out at a certain point.
That was a good job by Tommy by really coming back and taking that over Alex. So.
Tommy Sharp with a distance of 349.3.
349.3. Massive.
Alex Bromley going to be right behind there, nice and close. And Alex Bromley coming in with 296 and 3 inches. 296 feet and 3 inches for Alex Bromley, 349 feet and 3 inches
so Tommy had
for
lapped
Tommy
him.
Sharp.
We lost track of that.
That
he was
is
a whole lap behind
amazing.
Tommy. We thought they were neck and neck.
So we're stepping into the last 4 athletes, and this is tight at this part of the leaderboard. Our next 2 athletes, Frank Provenzano and James Deffenbaugh, both tied for 3rd place with 35 points. Jeff Lee only half a point ahead of them in 2nd place with 35.5, and then Nick Camby at 43.5.
So basically, the first place is decided. We are in a fight for 2nd and 3rd place. We have 3 people for 2 podium spots.
And this is where it really comes down to. We talk about that grit and that.
I got to tell you, depending on how it flows, Tommy might have who knows how it's going to hold up as well.
Absolutely. Tommy Sharp with an incredible distance of 349 and 3 inches right now.
Again, I know James really is good and does well at these events, so
he can just turn off pain.
And he wants to win. He wants to win this event.
Frank's got a nice high pick, and he's off first.
They both turn. Got 1 lap down. Frank looks a little slow. I wonder if that's fatigue or if that's just how he does this. Johnny yelling at Frank, telling him to hurry up, and that's good advice.
Both completing 4 laps. James just about to complete lap 5.
This is
Frank Provenzano gets 6 laps. James Deffenbaugh continuing. So that's going to get James Deffenbaugh onto the podium.
Yep. I believe Frank lost his podium here. James, like I said, James wants to win it.
Nine laps for James Deffenbaugh, coming back for round number 10.
Very impressive.
Trying to regrip again. This
gets tough.
It can be sketchy. He looks pretty comfortable, but trying to stand back up again after your hamstrings and glutes.
He's chilling down there. He's breathing. That's the first time I've ever seen that.
James Deffenbaugh making that rest count, doing 11 runs. Coming back for number 12. And he does not want to put this down. Taking another break.
Go. I've never seen anything like this.
Veteran strategy.
I feel like this is something I say about James every time I see him compete.
Just got word Frank Provenzano finished with 144 feet even. So James Deffenbaugh goes with 13
he absolutely
runs.
Dusted that event.
And some change. So there it is. James Deffenbaugh currently in the lead with 369 feet and 2 inches.
Wow.
taking over Tommy Sharp by almost 20 feet.
Amazing. He wanted that, I tell you. So that effectively puts the, I would say that kind of closes the door on Tommy's possible bid for a podium spot.
Potentially, we still do have to see how Jeff Lee does here coming up. Again, James Deffenbaugh only half a point back from Jeff Lee. And Nick Camby.
112 feet really is all he has to beat.
For Nick Camby to secure the win.
You know, Jeff has that injured thumb too, so I'm interested to see if he can actually.
He's in a good spot and he's off. Nick Camby with an extremely high pick.
Very high.
Nick Camby's got to watch his foot.
Came off a little bit. He's recovered though. He's coming off again. Jeff needs to pick it up a little bit. He's got to get some distance here.
James is slowing. He is working pretty slow. He's only gone 3 rounds.
Looks like he's slipping a little bit again. I think that thumb is really. This is the event that it's affecting him on.
Nick Camby with 6 rounds.
Jeff slipping a little bit. Jeff trying to do the James thing where he's trying to rest.
Nick Camby coming in for rep number 8. Gets it across.
Jeff waving to the crowd.
That run is going to secure the win for Nick Camby today.
Camby just won America's Strongest Man 2021.
Jeff Lee still trying to make the most of this run. Nick Camby with a run of 224 feet.
And it's down. Our final pairing in our men's 105 kilo division.
Our 105 podium, Nicholas Camby, James Deffenbaugh, and Jeff Lee.
Amazing show by all those athletes.
That last event really determined a lot. It's crazy.
It really did. I mean, you know, we knew it was a tight competition going into that final event. You know, points were really tight going in, you know, for those 3 guys fighting for those 2 podium spots.
Yep.
You know, and it still ended pretty close. Like I said, you know, Nick Camby in first, James Deffenbaugh second, Jeff Lee in third. But right outside, we had Tommy Sharp half a point off the podium, and then Frank Provenzano finishing 5th, but only a point and a half off the podium as well.
Yeah, it's very tight. That top 5 was pretty tight.
So
even Nick, it got tight with him. He was dominating, but
you know, still won by 3.5 points. But you know, hey, a win's a win.
A win's a win. That 12,000 is 12,000.
Doesn't feel sad. Awards table here.
It just feels sad. He's an America's Strongest Man, and everyone just like.
They were just like.
All right.
I already saw it. The awards table.
And in 7th, Mike Young.
Don, is there any audio out there right now?
I don't have their audio.
You can just put us on, yeah. Am I on?
Yeah.
So going through the final placings for the 105 kilo America's Strongest Man, we had Nate Bowling in 10th, Matt Moeller in 9th, Johnny Wazico coming in 8th place, Tyler Young in 7th, Alex Bromley in 6th, and stepping up we have Frank Provenzano in 5th. Again, we talked about this a little bit earlier, that the placings for the top 5 were close.
It was razor thin.
Tommy Sharp coming in 4th place.
Half point.
Only half a point off the podium.
Yep. You know, he pushed through some injuries. I'm very proud of him and how he performed.
You know what? He did have a great second half of the contest, though.
Did.
Started out a little slow, but really came in a great spot.
And we got Jeff Lee taking 3rd place.
Jeff Lee
podium. I think this is his first ASM.
You know, coming in 3rd place, first competition since 2017, walking away with a nice little check of $3,000 today for 3rd place.
It's great. This is a memory, and he really came back and made a statement and said, hey, I'm here.
In 2nd place, receiving $5,000.
Coming in 2nd place, we have James Deffenbaugh.
Nice payday for 2nd place ASM.
$5,000, not too bad. Yeah. Not too bad.
Hell of a trooper, man. He fucking performed. I didn't mean to cuss. It's the end of the day. I'm tired and hungry.
You know, Anthony, with this live stream, we're not on a delay, so we're not going to make Don work that hard backstage.
Receiving $12,000.
Nick Camby going undefeated this year.
Continues his
taking
rampage.
A big win back in April at Clash on the Coast, and then coming in and winning America's Strongest Man 2021. Again, a nice little payday of $12,000 for Nick Camby.
He's just on a rampage right now through the 105 world, and he's at the top level. He's operating on a different wavelength than these guys, and it's fun to watch. And he just asked him to be a groomsman in his wedding. I'm touched.
That's amazing.
And he got a nice belt from Pioneer.
Amazing performance from the 105 men today at America's Strongest Man. Top 3 one more time. In 3rd place, Jeffrey Lee. In 2nd place, James Deffenbaugh. And our champion, Nick Camby.
Wow. I mean, it was a fun, thrilling, it was a fun competition to watch. These guys were getting after it all day.
An absolutely exciting day here in San Antonio for 2021 America's Strongest Man. Once again, I want to thank all of our sponsors, Strongman Corporation, Strength Elite Collective, the U.S. Army, and ADL Live for this amazing live stream. Make sure you check them out on all the social media. Check out all of our athletes. And thank you again for watching the 2021 America's Strongest Man.